Good morning. We're going to go ahead and start. My name is Liz Dodds. I'm the past president of CSLA, meaning I just finished my term on the board, and I'm so pleased to introduce you to Jane Lofton. I'll read her bio. She is the teacher librarian at Miracosta High School in Manhattan Beach. She is an active member of CSLA and has served as CSLA state president, Southern Region president, conference chair, and a member of the foundation board and many conference committees. She is currently a member of the AASL Best Websites Committee. She is Google certified innovator and trainer and regular conference presenter at CSLA and Q conferences and Google for Education summits. She is an avid blogger, tweeter, and Google Apps user. She has recently taught online classes using Twitter. And she is one of the most phenomenal teacher librarians I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. If you don't have one of these numbers that look like this, let me know and I'll come around and bring it to you. Let's please welcome Jane Lofton.
Thank you. That's a little intimidating to live up to what you just said, but I'll do my best. I am presenting on a topic that I'm really passionate about, so I hope you'll enjoy learning about Google Images as much as I enjoy Google Images and other images tools as much as I enjoy using them myself. I'm going to share the slides with you at the end of the session, right now I'm going to, you don't need to get on just yet, but I am going to give you a link in a couple of minutes, okay? And you'll find out what that number's about in a couple of minutes, okay? So, and also, just so you know, I'm going to try to record this with Google Hangouts. We'll see whether it works. So let's get started. I'm going to be talking about becoming an images ninja with Google and other killer web-based images tools, all of which, there's lots and lots of them out there. I'm going to be sharing the ones that I've found the most helpful and enjoy using for finding images, for creating images, and for enhancing images that you either have found or, or created. So why are we talking about this? Why do we need images? Well, we live in a very visual world. We all respond to images. Both us, our students, our teacher colleagues, things, people get things better when we bring in, the visual dimension. So, and our students need to be media and image literate as well as text literate. So we need to become that so that we can pass that on to them, right? Okay, so during the session today, I have a slideshow that I'm going to have each of you contribute to, okay? And then at the end, we're going to have this sort of probably crazy sandbox, okay? It's basically you get a slide to experiment with. So if you go to this link, bit.ly, CSLA Images Ninjas, and also I love bit.lys because I can make them say something meaningful, but they are case sensitive. So you have to capitalize the, they're the only URLs I know of that are case sensitive, but they are. So go ahead and go to that link, and what you will find when you do that is this little slideshow that looks pretty much the same on the first screen, but you'll notice that I've done a slide on screen 2. And if you, okay, I'll go back to it in just a sec. And then if you got number 3, you are going to work on slide 3. If you got number 4, you are going to work on slide 4. And please stick to your own slide, okay? We don't want to, interfere in each other's work. So here again is the link, bit.ly, CSLA Images Ninjas. So did everyone get that? Okay, I'll give you a minute. I hope your connections are working well. If they're really, really slow, perhaps you want to jot it down. You have to, it is case sensitive. Are other people there? So if you're who's having trouble getting to it? You need to retype the URL exactly with the caps. I would use Chrome. We're doing a lot of Google stuff. Use Chrome. What? Yeah.
I use the URL with the caps and it's still not getting CSLA, not CLSA. No. Yep, got it.
Okay, if you came in late, you want to go to this URL and you want to get a number from Liz for your slide, okay? And so
I have an extra computer if anybody would like to use it.
oh, how nice. Extra computer here.
We have a room, chair up here.
Okay, so
Did you want to?
so I'll give you, how many people still need to get on?
I have to find my, this is a brand new computer. Get to the internet. It says I'm not.
Is that? That part I'm not going to be able to.
Do you have a room number?
I can't get connected to the internet. I went to come on the
Okay, guys, please, I'm going to ask if you aren't connected, please write this down because I'm going to go on to another screen, okay? So write it down while you're trying to get connected. How many people are still having issues?
Just tell me something.
You're not searching for it. Type in
When I did it, it gave me something.
I'm Claudia.
Hi, Claudia.
You're welcome. You've been a real help.
Okay, good.
And is it all caps?
I did.
All right. Thank you, Kat.
Yeah. Oh, that's why whenever I clicked on there, I couldn't like.
Can I help you?
Okay,
It's always the frustrating moment, getting online.
okay, folks, how many people are still having issues? Okay, what I'm going to ask, we have one new person come in. Can someone help her get on? And I'm going to go on, and you don't need to use your slide yet. I just wanted you to get set up on it, okay? So we will get back to that shortly. And I am going to be going through different ways, like I said, to search for images, enhance images and create your own images. But before I do that, we're going to do a crash course in copyright, Creative Commons, public domain, and and actually we'll get to fair use a little later. And I'm sure that many of you in this room are just as expert on these topics as I am. Take this perhaps as a if so, bear with me because it is going to be quick, and then we will get on to the searching. But also, what I try to do when I present this is kind of give you a model of things that you can say to your students. So take this as kind of, like what you can share with your students. Because also, frankly, talking about these topics, we could spend way more than 2 hours just on them. And guess what? Most of the time in the library, how much time do you have? Maybe 5 minutes. So that's why I'm going to rush through it, but I'm going to give you some resources for some more information, okay? Okay, let's start with the big C, copyright. It's been, the older I get, the less numbers person I am. Dates, and if you ask me dates and stuff, they don't stay in my head very well. But I can tell you that copyright has been with us for a very long time. And you'll notice that the wording is to promote creativity, innovation, and the spread of knowledge. We tend to think of copyright as this locks things down. It keeps us from being able to use things. But notice the word promote creativity, innovation. Copyright was actually, established in order to encourage creativity. By, do you really want to spend, a year or two of your life writing the great novel and then have somebody else take it from you? So the government, in passing this law, thought that by giving some protection, that would inspire people to be creative. And that still is the case, although let's face it, oftentimes it seems like it's a real impediment to creativity. But we're going to be talking about some ways where you can take advantage of it, and when things are copyrighted, ways that you can find other material that you can use without issues. But anyway, also copyright, you used to have to file for it. You don't anymore. Everything is automatically covered by copyright, and it doesn't even need to be published. That paper that your students write is copyrighted. It doesn't need the C in the circle, doesn't need to be filed. It's automatically covered by copyright. And it does protect the rights of creators. And like I said, it was intended to promote, not restrict creativity. And here are some of the things that copyright, I don't like lists on slides, but I thought that this one was important enough. We have to spend a couple of minutes on it, okay? What does it do? It's the right to reproduce the copyrighted work. It's the right to prepare derivative works based upon the work. It's the right to distribute copies of the work to the public. The right to perform the copyrighted work publicly, and the right to display the copyrighted work publicly. So what does all that mean? It means that if you're not the copyright holder, you don't automatically have those rights. That is restricted to the copyright holder, and they have the right to pass them on to you or not, right? And also, let's face it, while there is material out there that is not copyrighted, and we'll be talking about that, most of the images you find online are going to be copyrighted. And so they're going to have these restrictions. Hey, Liz, we have a couple of latecomers. Do you mind taking care of them? And, let's face it, the internet makes it so, people were always violating copyright in the past, but the internet makes it so much easier. Because there's all these tools to just so easily take screenshots, grab stuff, in every which sort of way. But just because you can doesn't mean it's ethical or legal to do so without credit or permission, okay? And by credit, actually, we're talking about, you want to give credit to avoid plagiarism, and also to respect intellectual property in general. And permission is, if it's copyrighted, you need the permission of the copyright holder. Okay. So the good news is that not everything is copyrighted, and one of the really easy ways to find material that you can use without restriction is what's called the public domain. And these are some of the symbols that are used for the public domain. Obviously, PD, public domain. The C with the circle line through it means not copyrighted, and the CC is Creative Commons is 0. So no restrictions, and we'll get to Creative Commons in a few minutes. So what is public domain? Well, either it's no longer covered by copyright because it's really old, or it never was covered by copyright. Also, U.S. government works, we do pay we pay taxpayers dollars for them, and they are free to use. If it is in the public domain, anyone can use it, and you don't even legally need to give credit to it. I would like to suggest, though, that you please always want to model good digital citizenship. Always tell where it came from, even if it's in the public domain and you're not legally required to. Just because you're not required to doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do. Okay? Okay, and then there is Creative Commons. Thank goodness for Creative Commons. I'm going to show you a very short film about Creative Commons.
When you share your creativity, you're enabling people anywhere to use it, learn from it, and be inspired by it. Take the teacher who shapes young minds with work and wisdom from around the globe, and the artist who builds beauty out of bits and pieces she finds online, and the writer whose stories use ideas and images crafted by people who never even met. These people know that when you share your creative work, you can accomplish great things. They and millions of other people all around the planet are working together to build a richer, better, more vibrant culture using Creative Commons. To understand Creative Commons, you need to know a little bit about how copyright works. Did you know that when you create something, anything, from a photograph, to a song, to a drawing, to a film, to a story, you automatically own an all rights reserved copyright to that creativity? That's true. Copyright protects your creativity against uses you don't consent to. But sometimes full copyright is too restrictive. What about when you want all those millions and millions of people out there to use your work without the hassle of coming to you for permission? What if you want your work to be freely shared, reused, and built upon by the rest of the world? Luckily, there's an answer. Creative Commons. We provide free copyright licenses you can use to tell people exactly which parts of your copyright you're happy to give to the public. It's easy. It only takes a minute, and it's totally free. Just come to our website and answer a few quick questions like, will you allow commercial uses of your work? And will you allow your work to be modified? Based on your answers, we'll give you a license that clearly communicates what people can and can't do with your creativity. You don't give up your copyright, you refine it so it works better for you. Welcome to a new world where collaboration rules. It didn't even exist just a few years ago, but now there are millions and millions of songs, pictures, videos, written works available to share, reuse, and remix, all for free. Want to work together? Then join the Commons. Creative Commons.
And you know how you always turn these off before you go through the credits? Well, I want to let everyone have their credits, so I'm going to play it through till the end. But while it's doing it, as an aside, I forgot to mention at the beginning a couple of things. For one, I heard John Carripo say this at Q1. His sessions come with lifetime tech support, and this session does too, and any sessions I do. So please feel free. If anything's not clear, you have anything later, get back to me, okay? And also, I noticed while the film was going on a couple of tweets about the session. Thank you. And if you are on Twitter, please tweet and please follow me if you're not following me, @Jane_librarian. And please tweet about the session and tweet about everything at CSLA this week. Okay, we want to fill the internet with tweets. By the way, the conference hashtag is CSLA 16. Okay. The regular CSLA hashtag is 4 CSLA, but during the conference you can do that too if you have space, but do CSLA 16, okay? And tweet about this session if you would. Anyway, this movie, I wish I could find one that was actually created from the point of view of someone who's going out looking for stuff, because of course that's what we do first. We're all going to become creators, and your students are all going to become creators, but let's face it, most of the time we start by, I need an image of a telephone, or I need an image of a computer, right? So you do sort of flip this film a little bit in your head that what Creative Commons does is it allows you to go find material that you can use freely without having to worry about whether you have permission or not. And not only is it a good thing, I think, to do that, because it makes it so much easier, you know, if you know that when you're finding a Creative Commons image that permission is automatic, there's no chance that you're violating copyright or that, you know, you're showing any lack of respect for intellectual property. But also Creative Commons is like, it's a movement and we should all be part of it. So they mentioned a little bit in the film, they said, you know, allows people to use it under the terms that you specify. And these are the terms. You can have attribution. You always have attribution. That means you tell where it came from, who it's by. Share alike is an option. That's if you can say, like I'll say, you can use my my material so long as you share it with the same license. For example, this slideshow is, I've assigned a Creative Commons license. Feel free to use any of it with your colleagues, your students, so on, but you got to give me credit, and you always have to give credit. And I've set it up with the share alike license, so like I'm not making any money. I'm not using a commercial. You can't lock it down and say other people, you can't copyright yours and say you can't use it. You know, you can't do a different type of license. Non-commercial means you can use it, but you can't use it for anything for profit. No derivative works. That's if, you know, we live in a mashup generation. You know, we're always, you know, manipulating things. And if you are the creator, you can say it's okay for you to use it that way, or you can say, but you can't, because, you know, you might have created this wonderful artwork and you don't want someone cropping it or whatnot. Okay, so those are the types of licenses, and then you can combine any that you want together. And here are some typical ones, and I'm not going to go through all of them. You are going to get all these slides afterwards, you know, for reference. But, you know, you typically will put them all, you know, more than one together, okay? So please model sharing, join, and promote the Commons. And this is from Gwyneth Jones, who of course shared this with a Creative Commons license. It's not a license, it's a lifestyle. So when I'm searching for images, that's the first place that I go. And I assign a Creative Commons license to just about everything that I create. So we're all contributing to the creative world by doing that.
Jane,
Yeah.
when you say that's where you go, do you mean like you go to creativecommons.org?
That's one of the places. I'm going to be talking about places to search. Well, yeah, when I said that's where I go, that's a good question. I actually meant that's the type of material. I should have said the type of material I first look for. I don't start off thinking I'm going to look for copyright and see if I can justify it under fair use, or I don't look for public domain, because, you know, I start by looking for stuff that's Creative Commons license. And I will be talking about places to Here's some really sad news, and this came from a colleague of mine, Gail Dessler. We've co-presented at CUE last year, and we will be again because we found out that we both were talking about a lot of the same things. And anyway, so a lot of the material is in this workshop is cross-fertilized with her. And I just got this from her. 90% even of the Creative Commons photos aren't attributed. And then they aren't all attributed right. So let's change that. That is one of the things that teacher librarians should be doing, is being the models for respecting intellectual property and giving the right credits, okay? We want to make those numbers change. Okay, so now we're going to get, so that really was, like I said, a real rush through. I'll get to fair use in a little bit. If I didn't cover enough, ask me at the end. I have some materials, you know, that will tell you more about copyright Creative Commons. Okay, now let's talk about what you probably were thinking you mostly came here for is, you know, how do I find images? And I'm going to start with Google. And there's basically 3 ways with Google. And I see the bottom of my screen is getting cut off a little bit. Will that help? Well, I'm sorry. This says, well, I'll just read it to you. So there's 3 ways, and you've all searched for images in Google, and we're going to do that in a couple of minutes. And it is far and away the most robust. But in recent years, Google has also come up with a couple of other ways that it a lot of times make life easier. And one is the research tool, and it is really the easiest. And it's one that I constantly model with students, you know, when they're doing slideshows. I urge the teachers to have them use Google Slides, and it gives me a chance to show them the research tool and to build in at least a mini lesson on respect for intellectual property. And then the most recent is the search within Slides and other Google tools. When you're in them, you can select search. And we're going to be going through each of them. Okay, so let's start with the Google Images search bar. And I'm going to show you slides, and then I'll probably flip over. But what you want to do at this point is open a tab in your browser and go to Google, just google.com. Or you can go to, there's 2 ways to get to images. One is to type images.google.com. Actually, you ought to do that. I'm sorry. Images.google.com. Any Google tool you can get to directly by putting the name of the tool and then .google.com. But if you go to google.com and you search for something, right immediately there'll be an option to limit it to images. But I'd suggest go to images.google.com and then put something in the search bar, anything you like. Then you're going to select search tools, and then you're going to select usage rights. So I'm going to go ahead and join you. We'll get off the slides for a minute. So I'm going to search for school libraries.
The same thing. Yeah, but I look over and she's got dogs.
Okay. And now notice, if I had been in Google, there would have been an option to limit it to images. Now notice though, now I'm in images, and there's this option here that says search tools. Click on that. We all together?
Search tools. Okay. Oh, cool.
Okay, now notice there is usage rights. Let's click on that. Okay? And you will see all these different terms. Now notice they do not say Creative Commons, but most of these are Creative Commons. But obviously, by default, guess what we're searching for? we're not filtering by license. So you know what, frankly, what I tell my students is, at this point, put your blinders on, don't look at those pictures. Because the one that you see is probably going to be copyrighted. So,
So you want to do anything?
so here, basically, you don't want, what you want to do is go down and select one of the other ones. And
Yours looks different.
maybe that will help. And so just to go over those different options, the not filtered by license is you're going to get, you know, the majority of the stuff you're going to get is going to be copyright because most of the stuff out there is copyrighted. The next one, labeled for reuse with modification. This will search images you can reuse and modify even commercially. So, however, what it is, it's the most filtered, so you're going to get the least results. You know, you're going to way narrow down what comes back. I don't think we need this. We don't need this one. What we need is, I'm going to skip down to this, well, either this one or this one. What I always use is we'll search for images you can reuse and modify in non-commercial works. I'm not in the commercial world. I'm not making money, so I don't need to limit it to ones where that way. I do frequently, though, crop, recolor, so on. So I want ones I'm allowed to modify. So this is always my favorite choice, labeled for non-commercial reuse with modifications. Okay. Oops. And I don't know why this is. I apologize. It's the bottom of the screen is coming off. Anyway, like what I'm going to suggest is 90% of the time, this is the one you're going to want to use. This is the one you're going to want your students to use. Okay. So let's go ahead and limit it to labeled for non-commercial reuse with modification. So now I can open up my eyes to the pictures because I can use every one of these, right? And if I see something that I like, what I'm going to do is I can click on it, and I do want to confirm the license. I want to visit the page and see whether it really has the kind of license I think it does. I'm going to show you another tool later, Flickr, where the person who uploaded it tagged it with the license. So you can be very, very confident. Google, they do their best, but it's all done by machine. And you might get to an image that was, you know, that you found this way, and it turns out it's not. However, which is a reason why when we get to Flickr, I prefer Flickr, but let's face it, we're working most of the time with students who it's hard to get them to do this at all. So if a mistake is made and something wasn't labeled the right way, at this point, you know, in their lives, learning to do the right thing is, by me, far more important than getting every single one they find perfect, right? But you do want to visit the page and check the license. And then if you want the image, what you can do is you can right-click it on it and save image as, right? Or if you're on a Mac, unless it's got a transparent background that you want to keep, you can do one of my favorite things, Command-Shift-4. If you're on a Mac and you haven't done this, you have to start doing this. I couldn't live without it. And then you drag from one corner to the other. And let's say, actually, I want to go ahead and crop this for starters. So I'm going to drag from here to here. And usually you hear this satisfying ping, and it saves it as a screenshot on your desktop. Okay. But what's the next thing you need to do? I want to visit the page, and I also want to grab that URL for my credit. The absolute minimum, and we'll talk about giving credit, but the absolute minimum you want to do is grab that URL. That way you can get back to it. Anyone who any place you put it, the person who sees it can go to that URL to see where it came from, okay? So that's why, and I always want to give the URL of the page it came from rather than the image, because by giving the page it came from, they can see the source and they can check the credits themselves too. The image URL sometimes does not let you go back to finding where it was actually created. It doesn't give you as much information, I guess. Okay, some other great options there, and I'm not really going to take the time to go over them too much, but I wanted to share with you that there's lots of wonderful things you can do on that search tools bar. One is you can limit things by size. So if you want something larger, you just want something tiny, or you want something exactly, or color. Let's say I want something green, or okay, I'll show you. Oh, and also, what I forgot to mention is, now that you're searching, this is the time when you can start putting stuff in your slide as we go along, okay? And when you do, please make absolute sure that you give credit, okay? So at least add that URL down below the image. Hopefully we'll have time for you just to sort of do some playing at the end, but as we go along, if you find a pretty image, grab it, put it in your slide. We're not going to make beautiful slides. We're just going to have kind of a medley of this, that, and the other thing that we find, okay? Okay, so I'm on here, and so if I want to limit it to different sizes, I can choose one of these. If I want to limit it by color, I choose this, and guess what? You know what transparent is? A transparent background. So like if you lay it in a slide that has a green background, you won't have that white box around it, right? So if you want transparent, that's a good, easy way to do it. Type, I've rarely used that, but sometimes you really just want photos, or you really just want line drawings or something. Time, if you want things recent or different times in the past. This is telling me the license, so I've already chosen it. And then the only thing on the More tools is it will show you the sizes if you're trying to, while you're searching, see what sort of sizes. Okay, and then of course you can clear things by doing that. Okay, so always take advantage of these search tools. Okay. A couple of other things that I forgot to mention while I was there is, you'll notice on here, there's a little camera icon. What does that do? That allows you to upload a picture. And what I've done sometimes, like if you have a picture that you like, but it's not quite right, you want to find something similar, it will search for similar images. Also, it can sometimes help you find, where did this image come from, Also, I've done it like, I'm out on a walk, and I love plants, but I'm not good at knowing what they are. So what is this flower? I'll take a picture of it and I'll upload it, and I'll find other images that are tagged, and I can find out what kind of flower it is. Also, there are various search operators that you can use for images and other things. And if you want to go back to that later, here's a link to what the various search operators are. There is also the advanced image search. And you get to that from here. Frankly, though, I think this used to be a lot more important before Google introduced that search tools bar. There really is hardly anything on here anymore that you can't get from the search tools bar. But if you have you want to do an elaborate Boolean search for, keywords, Also there are a few other things like from parts of the world, there's region option. And of course there is the, the license filtering. And also you can choose like, I want a GIF file, and like if you want to animate it, you can choose a GIF file. You can't do that from the search tools bar. So that's when you want to know about the advanced search. Although, I found that I need it. I used to use it a lot, and now I use it less and less.
I'm sorry, how did you get to the advanced? The settings.
I went to,
The settings.
yeah, it's right here, the little gear, advanced search. Yeah.
With advanced search, Jane, I found that if you do a search, then over there in the gear bar, it will give you the advanced option. You just go to Google page, it doesn't have that under the gear wheel. So.
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't follow.
Okay, on Google page, just the home page, there's the gear.
Yeah.
Advanced isn't on it. But if you do a search, then under the gear wheel is that advanced option. You get to that advanced search.
Oh. So you mean plain Google, not Google Images?
Yeah, well, yeah, it may show up in Google Images. But I got
Well, one thing that to keep in mind is, it doesn't show up until you've done a search.
that's all.
Yeah. When in doubt with Google, you don't need to do the perfect search the first time. Just search for something, and then you'll get all those options. I've heard, Tasha Bergson Michelson, who, used to work for Google and is a true Google guru. I've heard her when talking to students about doing research. She said, I don't really care what you search for first. You just got to get something in there, and then you start tweaking. And also, when you get something in there, then you see the, the search tools, you see the advanced search option and so on, and then you go from there, okay? So that is Google advanced search, Google search, and obviously you can use that to find images that you put in anything, another Google app, just a poster, a Word document, you name it. And it definitely has more options than any of the other Google search tools. However, other Google search tools are definitely worth knowing about because they make life easier. And my favorite one was the Google research tool, although the third one we're going to get to, I may be moving over to now that it's available. But the Google research tool is a wonderful tool to use, especially with students. So basically, and this is something that works in Google Docs and Google Slides. So you're already in your Google Slides. So what you want to do is go to Tools and choose Research. And then you want to filter to images, and you want, and I'm going to join you, okay? Okay, so I am in a slideshow. I'm going to go to Tools, Research. And actually, oh, you know what? If you, let's see if it finds me. If you have something highlighted when you do it, let's see if it finds me. It will automatically put that search in. Look, it found me. But of course you can change that. I don't really want to search for myself. I want to search for, oh, let's go with butterflies. Okay. But the, also see the little G Google logo? Click on that and you will see there's all these options. So Google's allowing students to actually do, text research and so on using the research tool. I don't promote that at all, but I love it for images. So I tell them select images, okay? So now it's limiting it just to images, and I hope you're following along, okay?
I'm not sure. How'd you get research?
I know the key to find out research.
Okay, how did I went to Tools, Research. And it opened this tab over on the right.
And then you search for it, and I did that when I could get it.
And this will work, like I said, in Google Slides. It will also work in Google Docs. Okay, now, notice, so I've limited, notice this little tiny arrow just above the pictures and below your search term. Click on that. And notice what it's saying. It's saying not filtered by license. And frankly, I will usually tell students, you know, if you're doing a presentation for class, and it's going to be within the confines of your classroom, you probably are okay not filtering, because you are probably going to be covered by fair use. However, if you're not a publisher today, you're going to be one tomorrow. What if you do a wonderful presentation, you want to make it part of your digital portfolio, share it with the world? Then you need to be much more careful about not using copyrighted material without permission. So let's get in the habit of finding material that you know you can use. So let's go ahead and choose free to use, share, or modify, even commercially. And that's going to limit it to Creative Commons and to public domain. Does it have that whole variety of licenses the way the Google image search does? No, it doesn't. It's not as robust, but it sure is easier. And if you've never done this before, look how easy this is. So let's say I found this butterfly. I want this butterfly. I am going to drag this butterfly into my slide. It is going to make that an image in my slide, which I can now size or whatever I want to do. And also notice it automatically brought in the URL it came from. And if you go into present mode, what that will do is make that a hyperlink, which someone will see as a hyperlink when they mouse over it. See the little hand? I don't think that's good enough. I think that at the very minimum, I want that URL there. So what you can do, I used to think you had to copy and paste it, but you don't. You can just drag it, and now it's a separate text box. It's still attached to the image, but you've got that, and it always makes this big, huge box. That's one thing I hate. And then you've got to move it so that, and then, you know, I'll tell them you can make it tiny. It doesn't have, it can be very subtle, but it's got to be there, right? And this way you are giving credit to where that image came from, okay? Is this the best attribution? When you will see in a couple of minutes, or a few minutes, no. But it's a whole lot better than nothing, right? And we know that that is something that if they decide to publish their slideshow or anything else, they are not violating copyright. They are respecting intellectual property. What do you want me to do again? What? Oh, you know what I did is I tried to size down the text box. I think, is somebody else on my slide by chance?
That's what these numbers are for.
Yeah, stay on your slide. Well, maybe not. I just size it down and I try and get it underneath the picture. And actually, I used to put the URL. Now I usually make it a hyperlink. I tell about the creator and the name of it, and then I hyperlink to that URL, which you can do.
Somebody deleted a slide because all of our numbers changed. That is what happened.
Yeah, because I was
Somebody deleted a slide.
Oh my gosh. Guys, we're having that teachable moment that I've had to have with students. I didn't warn you. I guess I should have. When you are over here, do not click delete. If you are the person who deleted the slide, please do an undo.
I added a slide, so it should be okay.
Oh, okay. So everybody cool? Please stay on your slide. And this is a lesson. I've done slide. You're not going to make me have that teacher thing where I say I can't talk over you guys.
You added that slide, you messed up everybody else that was on the right slide.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, please, guys. Are we okay with the slides now? Yes.
When I drag a picture over into my slide, it's no longer my slide, but anyway, it automatically put a hyperlink. And by hyperlink, means like the definition.
Yes.
That's all you need, correct?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you need one more thing. All right, let me go over it again. Okay? When it automatically creates a hyperlink, and by the way, if you were in a Google Doc, it would create a footnote. And when you go into present mode, remember I showed you, you can see it's a hyperlink. Some people would say that's enough. I think you have to at least go to that next step of taking this, dragging it down so that you have it separately and you can put it underneath or next to the image. What you really should do too, though, is you should visit that link and you should confirm the license. Can we get students to do that? Probably not. Plus, notice it is the hyperlink of the image and not of the page. And remember, I said I recommend using the page. However, most of the time what you can do is you can, like, you know, you all know how to play with the URL. You can back up, except that since this is upload, I think I probably have to get rid of the upload. It might not be easy to find it. If you try hard enough, you'll find it. But what I tell the students is they have to actually at least at minimum have an explicit URL.
So you just take it out of that little box and you make its own little box.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't actually go out. It's like copying it. When you drag it off, it stays on the box, but it stays on the image, but it also creates a new one.
Okay, so you're just making another, okay.
So you pop in the link address.
So I'm not what?
You pop in the link address.
I'm copying the link address by dragging it somewhere else on the slide.
So that the URL just stays there permanently instead of being hidden. Yeah.
Correct.
And so that's all we're doing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Now, like I said, I'm going to get to proper attribution, which is more than that, but this is good, okay? So basically, I've showed you all the stuff on this slide. These slides are for you to go back over for reference later. Yeah.
I have Rochelle's coming up on mine for slides. I don't know what number are you? I'm 41.
I'm working on slide 6.
Okay. Well, I just
Okay, all right, one thing, I love Google Slides, but sometimes you will find that it pops you over to another slide. So please be vigilant and make sure that before you type something or drag something that you're still on your slide. It might have popped you to somebody else.
What we're not understanding is how they're doing that, because we're just doing our own little slide. We're not in your slideshow.
You're in this one. Well, if you put in the bit.ly, you're in there.
Well, I'm in a different tab. I did different tab.
Okay, if you are frustrated, guys, please. If you're frustrated, I have done this with classes of up to 30, and they've managed to stay on their own slides. I know we are a big group. So if you're frustrated, create your own slideshow, okay? And then you You won't be running into other people, and you can copy that into the slideshow later, okay? That's probably the thing to do. Okay, next option is insert image option. And what's cool about this is it automatically filters to Creative Commons or public domain. The students don't have to do that filtering. And it works in docs, in forms, in slides, and slide backgrounds. And, oh, I'm sorry. And in sheets. So let me show you that one, okay? So I'm in, you know what, I'm going to, since so many of you are working in there, I did set up a slideshow just for me. I'll do that. Bear with me. Okay, so I'm in a slideshow. Load, please load. You'll notice there you can do two things. There's the little picture icon, or there is insert image. And when you do that, you get all of these options. This gives you a chance to upload your own image, of course. Take a snapshot. When I've worked with students, sometimes I'll have them tell them to take a picture of themselves to put on their slide, and they enjoy doing that. You can do that with your photo booth very easily if you're on a Mac. You can load by URL, or you can from your drive and so on. But notice the one we're going to focus on is over on the right, search. And there are other options. There's life and stock images. I usually go with Google. So now I'm going to search for, somebody give me a search term other than school libraries. Technology, okay. Now everything that came back is already filtered to Creative Commons or public domain. Pretty cool, huh? Also, I have these various filtering options. So if I want, I can do just clip art, or I can do, you know, different colors and so on. I like green, so everything's green. And when I select something, I can put it into my slideshow. However, caution here, it doesn't add the automatic URL the way that the research tool did. And it tells you right here, if you read it, the image highlighted was found by Google image search on this page. Only select images that you have confirmed you have the license to use. So what you need to do is you need to visit that page and make sure it's okay. And you need to, at that point, grab that URL, copy it into your clipboard, so that you can use that. Now go back to here and select, and it brings it in. But notice, like I said, it doesn't have that built-in hyperlink. So, but remember, I just put the URL in my clipboard, or I thought I did. And there's my URL, you know, and I can size it. And also, did you know in a text box in Google, if you have a URL, if something it recognizes as a URL, and you go to the end of the line and you press enter, it automatically turns it into a hyperlink. You don't even have to use the little link tool to do that.
How did you find the URL today?
I went to, when I did search, watch one more time, insert image. Okay, let's try another one. I found this one, and it's giving me this URL right here. I'm going to visit that URL. I'm going to confirm, yeah, this is in the public domain. Cool. So legally, I wouldn't even have to give credit. Ethically, give credit, please. Okay. Now I'm going to highlight that URL and Command-C on my Mac, Control-C on your PCs. That's in my clipboard. I'm going to go into back here. I'm going to select this. It's going to bring it into the slide. And then I'm going to do a click somewhere outside of anywhere else, and I'm going to do a Command-V or a Control-V on this PC. And I've got the URL there. And then if I go to the end of that line and press Enter, it's automatically a hyperlink. Okay, so I'm liking this insert and then search more and more, except that probably the safest one with students, and especially when you have the least amount of time to teach them anything while you're going over it, is to have them use the research tool. Because that, at least, even if they don't do anything else without meaning to, they have a hyperlink to it, and they can go back to find it later, you know, to do proper attribution. Whereas with this one, if you forget, then you're going to have to try and retrace your steps and do the same search again. Those basically are the three Google ways of doing finding images. All right, best practices for attribution. The ideal is to see, Butterfly is the title, Flutterfly is the author or the creator, and notice these are both hyperlinked, and it tells what kind of license it is. That's saying it's Creative Commons by, which is the attribution, NC, non-commercial, ND, no derivatives. So that is like a perfect citation. And I have tried in my slides to put close to this, at least. Next best, not as much information, but pretty good. Bare minimum, the URL. Frankly, I'll be happy with the URL because, like we saw, 90% of images aren't credited at all. So far better having this than nothing. So I don't get upset if that's all the students do. But I try and do more and more. I try and do a better job myself because you do want to model the best, right? Okay, so that was Google. Now let's go on to some non-Google ways. My absolute favorite is Flickr. Why do I love Flickr? Flickr really is a community that you can find images, also videos these days on, but you can also contribute to, and lots of organizations have contributed, museums, libraries, and so on have contributed to it. So there's a wealth of material there. So I feel like I try and upload. I have a Flickr page for my library, and I have a personal one. And especially for the library, that's the place I try and store my images because that's a good place for people at my school to find them, but also that means other people can take advantage of them. Is everything on their Creative Commons? No, it's not. You do have to filter the way you do with Google. But anyway, Flickr is wonderful. Rachel asked about going to creativecommons.org, and that is certainly a good option. And then one that's really easy and quite new is Photos for Class. So we're just going to take a minute or two to go over each of them. I really love Flickr. So please go to Flickr. Let's take a couple of minutes to go to flickr.com. Okay. And it's there's no E in it. So it's FLICKR.com. Okay. Thank you for the tweets, guys. Keep them coming. Okay, so I'm on Flickr, and you'll notice I'm logged in, but you don't have to have an account to use Flickr. I encourage you to open one, but you don't have to have an account. So now I'm going to search for something. I'm going to search for San Diego, okay? And again, like we did with Google Images search, put on your blinders because a lot of this is going to be copyrighted. But notice right up here, there is any license. Click on that, and you'll see they're worded slightly differently, but basically you have all the options that we talked about when we were doing the Google search. And what I'm going to choose is modifications allowed. Although if I knew I wasn't going to make a modification, I'd do the all Creative Commons. But if I think I might want to crop it, color it, or whatever, I'm going to choose modifications allowed. And now it's going to take a lot of those out. I don't have as many options, but still I'm going to have a lot of options, right? If I see one that I like, what I do is and there's also, you know, color options here. They keep getting more sophisticated. If I see one I like, I click on it. And here it tells you down at the bottom what the license is. Oh, and also some rights, I forgot when we were talking about Creative Commons. There's other ways of describing Creative Commons, like copyleft, copyright friendly, people will say, and they will often say some rights reserved. Basically, that is code for Creative Commons, okay? And so this, I can tell from the little icons, is attribution, non-commercial, share alike. That's cool with me, right? And the thing too is that, like I mentioned earlier, the people who upload the images assign the license. So you can be sure on Flickr that that is in fact the license, unless someone uploaded a picture they didn't have the right to upload. And of course that could happen. But if it was actually the creator who uploaded it, then you can be sure that that is the correct license, okay? So let's say I want to use this. I can download it, and there are download options. There, if you're on a Mac, you can do the Command-Shift-4 and drag. Or you can even right-click and save. Oh, I thought there was, it's not working right now, save image as. But you can do the download, or you can do the Command-Shift-4, but also you want to give credit to it, right? And this is a huge, ugly URL up here. So let's not use this huge, ugly URL. Let's click on this little arrow here, and you will see share.
Wow.
All right, I'll go back. See to the right of the picture, there's 3 icons. Star if you want to favorite it. This little, you know, right pointing arrow and the down arrow. Click on the right pointing arrow, and this will give you the a short share URL, okay, which you can, you know, use as your credit. All right. If you're doing something like on a website where you want to embed, you can even get embed code. And I don't know about BB code. That's beyond me. Make sure that it's on the share. I've had students share, accidentally be in bed, and they give me this big string. You don't want that. You want this nice short URL, okay? Do take advantage of Flickr, and do consider contributing to it. It's part of, you know, the Creative Commons community. Yeah.
Is Flickr all photographs, or are there like?
I believe it started off being all photographs. Now it also has videos.
But not like drawings or
You know, it's what any sort of image someone chooses to upload. but it really got started as a photo sharing tool. And so that's mostly what you're going to find on there. It's a product of Yahoo, which could be kind of, it's been around for a long time. I trust it will stay with us because it's a wonderful tool. Okay, so that was, oh, wrong one. So that was Flickr. Remember, the important thing to remember is the advanced options to filter, okay? And actually, seemed like we were going to have so much time and we don't, but I am going to stop and tell you one story. When the year that I've been, my entire career in education has been as a teacher librarian, but I had 1 year in the middle where they eliminated my job and I was a 7th grade classroom teacher. And I had all my students blogging, and at that time Google didn't have all those advanced search options for images, and I taught them about using Flickr, and I taught them about giving credit and everything. And I had a student who, well, one day I got an email, and we used EduBlogs. One morning I wake up and there's an email from this rather irate gentleman who said, "You have a student who posted my copyrighted image on his blog. Tell him to take it down." And he also wrote to EduBlogs. And so he had tried to do the right thing. He had gone to Flickr. He had searched. He had given credit. And that's how the man found out it was there, because he had pinged him that it was there, but he forgot the Creative Commons filter. So we had, you know, a teachable moment. But it is important to remember that filter. Okay, CreativeCommons.org. I don't know why I've not gotten into using this a lot, because it is a wonderful tool. If you go to CreativeCommons.org, and I'll show you how you get there, they have a lot of search tools. So it's CreativeCommons.org. And the funny thing is that they hide where they are. See, under licenses, there's find licensed content. Choose that, and that will take you to this screen, okay? CreativeCommons.org, find licenses, find licensed content, okay? And this is actually what they say. This is not a search engine. What it does is it gives you access to all these other search engines. So if I'm searching, let's do San Diego again. I already searched on Flickr, but maybe I want to search on Pixabay, or maybe I want movies. I want to search on YouTube. It will do that for me, okay? Also, I'm much more visual than audio, I guess, but really just about everything I'm saying also applies to music. I should have said that at the beginning. And one of the nice things is they have some tools for searching for music, Jamendo and CC Mixter, okay? So, you know, take advantage of this. Another quite new tool is called Photos for Class. If any of you have used Storyboard that, which is a cool tool, they've just come out, or they've recently come out with Photos for Class. And how it works is basically it searches Flickr for you. I think everything comes from Flickr, I believe. So if I put in school libraries, and I want to find photos, photosforclass.com. I'm sorry. I should have made that clear. Anyway, so photosforclass.com, and then you search, and then everything here, like the Google Insert tool, everything has been filtered to Creative Commons. And let's say that I decide I like this picture. This is a pretty cool picture, the best Apple School librarian. I want that one. I can see it says view on Flickr. I could go to Flickr and follow all that procedure for downloading it and getting the URL. But if I download the picture, and so I'm going to save it to my desktop. Maybe I'll rename it. And when I open that image up, notice at the bottom, the whole attribution is there. They put the attribution in for you. Yeah, you download it and then you use that. It downloads it as a ping, and then you can use it wherever. So especially for younger students, I think that this is the way to go. The only thing it doesn't have a built-in hyperlink, so it doesn't like make it like it gives you the URL, but I would have to like highlight it and then copy and paste it. It's not a hyperlink. So that's the only thing I don't like about it, you know, that I don't love about it. But you really couldn't get easier than that, right? So take advantage of that. You know it's Creative Commons and you know you're getting the credit automatically. Okay, some other things, don't forget that material from the US government is in the public domain, so you can use that. You know, so in other words, if you search a US government site, you can use the material there, just give credit.
US government, but not cities or states?
You know what? I'm not sure. I would think it'd be everything, but I can't swear to that. I'd need to find that out. Let me find out and I'll post something about it, okay? Also, let's face it though, sometimes you do all of that and you just don't find that image you want. So what then? And, you know, let's face it, students are much less patient searchers. They're going to spend less time before they say, you know, couldn't find anything. So what do you do then? Well, first of all, remember, sometimes the best image is the one you take or create yourself. Like I wanted for this movie, I wanted an image of put yourself in someone else's shoes. And I'm thinking I need a great photo of shoes. And I can't find it. And then, you know what, I have shoes. I can take pictures of my own shoes, for example, you know. So remember that. I think we too often forget that part. However, there is one other thing that can sometimes come to the rescue, and that is fair use. It's not well understood. It is something that we should take advantage of. In fact, I've heard if you don't flex your fair use muscles, they'll go, you know, they'll go away. So take advantage of it. But basically, but you do need to be careful with it. You need to understand it. So it's part of the copyright law. And basically it says that you can use a certain amount of copyrighted material under certain circumstances, such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research, okay? But when you want to say, I'm arguing fair use for using this copyrighted image or whatnot, what do you need to consider? First, the nature of the work. So if it is like nonfiction, you have a much better chance of getting away with it than if it's fiction, because it's less creative. You know, actually, if it's unpublished, you have less latitude because they tend to want to allow the creator of the material to have the first right to use it, you know. But the nature of the work, the amount you use, are you using the whole picture, or you just, you know, or the whole film, or you just using little pieces of it? If you haven't seen A Fair Use Tale, which I had running a little bit at the beginning, you ought to watch that. They've taken all these Disney clips and they put them together and they've just used little bits. And it's like a perfect example of using copyrighted material under the doctrine of fair use. The purpose you're using it for. So the good news is we're using it for educational purposes. Usually our students are. That gives us a good amount of latitude. If we were wanting to sell, it would be harder. But it doesn't mean that just because you say, you can't just say, I'm using it for educational purposes and that just takes care of it. It's not that simple. Also, the effect of your use on the potential market for the work. Are you depriving the copyright owner of any potential profit or exposure or recognition? Sometimes you're helping them by like, you know, I know, like, frankly, I know that book covers are copyrighted. I can't for the life of me imagine an author or a publisher who would object to my putting their book cover anywhere. I mean, why would they? You know, it's promoting it. So you also have to think about, are they going to come after you or not, right? Or are they going to care? But what I mostly tell students is fair use is pretty easy to justify within a classroom, you know, within the four walls of our school. However, it's much harder when you publish online. Why? You no longer have control of the potential use or audience. It really, when you publish a website, a blog or something, it really is a game changer. So that's when you want to be much more careful about claiming fair use. Okay. Also, let me go back. I don't know why the bottom of my slides came off, but at the bottom of the slide, it says, always remember that fair use is an argument. It's not a right. So you may decide that you're covered by fair use. I only used a little bit of this, or I used it for educational purposes or whatnot. The copyright holder may disagree with you and they may come after you. So what happens if they come after you? Well, hopefully they'll just say, take it down, you know, and that'll be the end of it. They could sue you though. I mean, no, that's not likely. I mean, we do have a lot of fair use coverage because we are educators, but it doesn't mean that it's carte blanche. And so that's why you really want to try and go with the material where you basically Creative Commons public domain. It's a no-brainer. You know you can use it. When you get into trying to use copyrighted material, it's iffy, okay? And I have more material about that. That's really all I have time for today. But fair use is, I mean, could be an all-day discussion. I just do my very best to urge students to go with what, like, you know, the easy way first. And also it's good to expose them to that Creative Commons community. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some ways that you can enhance images. And one, if you are in a Google tool, Google has some really cool options for enhancing your images. You can, so here's our dog when he was a puppy. You can crop an image. See, I got rid of the extra background. You can recolor it. You can adjust the transparency. You can even mask it into a lovely little heart or whatnot. And this works within slides, docs, drawings, although within docs, there's no mask option. So basically, you can use it anywhere because you can create a drawing and then you can put that, download that drawing and put the drawing in anywhere. But if you're in slides or docs, you can, it's built in. So how does it work? Once you have an image in your slide or your doc, you go to the tools up here. You see the little crop tool, and it has all these options. So I'm going to flip over and show you. Okay, so I have this image here. what I do is I have to click on that image. The image can't just be on my slide or in my document. I have to click on it. And now notice up at the top, let's get rid of the research tool, make the screen a little bigger. See this little crop option? If I want to crop it, I click that and it makes little lines. And I can drag in. Oops. You have to be careful not to drag the whole image. You have to drag the little tiny things. So now, see, I've only got that part of the image. Okay, so see, I did that by using this little crop option. Also notice, no, this isn't going to work in PowerPoint. This works in Google Slides and in Google Docs. Okay. Now notice this little mask image option. It's a little tiny arrow. Click on that. It has all these shapes. Some of them would be bizarre. I mean, you know, let's face it, we don't want, you know, that. So when we decide we don't want that, we do the little undo, reset image option. Okay. But one of the things that I particularly like to do is under shapes, this second one, you know, usually kind of rounded corners look nicer than square ones. So also other options are under, you click image options and it's got, you can recolor it. So I like green, but what if I preferred blue? Or maybe I want it to be behind something, so I want it a little bit transparent. I can drag over here. I can if I took a picture and it's not the best picture, I can maybe brighten it up. I can add contrast and so on. And again, if you make a mistake and you're not happy, you don't even have to do the undo. Just click on the image and here's reset image.
Where was reset again?
It is, there's the, let me show you in my slide because it's easier to see because it's bigger. There's the crop tool. There's this little thing to bring down these options, and then that's the reset. And the image options is what brings up this pane over on the right. Okay? Yes. I just figured you were going to be busy enough searching and adding to your slideshow. I didn't want you to have to worry about my slideshow at the same time. I'll give that to you at the end, okay? If anyone's really unhappy, I'm happy to go to the end and give you the URL for the slideshow. Anybody want it? Okay. Here it is, but you got to take it down quickly because I'm going back to the other slide, okay? Bitly, and this one's all lowercase. CSLA Images Workshop, okay? CSLA Images Workshop, all right? Got it? Bitly, bit.ly/CSLA Images Workshop. And that's all these slides, okay? Okay. So back to where we were. And the enhancing images works on its own and also within docs and sheets, okay? Okay, let's go on to Google Drawings, which more and more I am really coming to love Google Drawings. You can use Google Drawings to either enhance an existing image or to create an image. You're not going to use it in slides because basically slides already has all that built-in stuff. You just saw me recolor stuff. If I want to add in slides, if I want to add, you know, an arrow or something, I can do it within slides, right? But if I want to, if I'm in a Google Doc or I'm going to be putting it in Google Word or something, like say I take a screenshot and I want to add arrows, this is a way to do, that's one of the things that Google Drawings can do for you. So it's great for, I've used it a lot for enhancing screenshots with lines, call outs, and so on. It's good for charts. It's good for making infographics. It's good for graphic organizers or really any kind of drawing. And when you get the slides, here's some links to a presentation that someone did all about Google Drawings and also some great Google Drawing templates. If you would like to see, one of the things that I think is especially cool about it is you can use it for graphic organizers, and you have the, the work area, I forget what it's called, but you can also have stuff outside the work area. And if you go to, if you want to make your own copy to play with, go to this bit.ly compare features, and it will actually, what it will do is it will force you to make a copy of this. And let me show you this for a minute. So I'm going to make a copy, even though I already have one on my computer. Okay, see, so I'm in Google Drawings, and I've got this graphic organizer that I created, and then notice all the things that are supposed to go in it are off the canvas, I guess canvas, or whatever you want to call it. So which search tool has the most robust search options, everybody? Of images search, research tool, and insert image. Which one? This is a quiz. Image search. Thank you. So I'm going to drag that in there. Which one automatically limits all the searches to Creative Commons and public domain? No. Insert image. And so on. So in other words, you could create, this is just sort of an example of how you could create a graphic organizer, a manipulative graphic organizer for your students to use. So how do you get to Google Drawings? Well, from the drive, you go to New, and it's not on that first screen. You have to do more, and then you do Google Drawings, okay? And then you get this canvas. And now you can start to, well, let's say, you know, I for whatever reason, took a screenshot of this because I wanted to show you something about photos for class. So in my drawing, I'm going to insert that image. I'm going to choose that image. It's the first one on my desktop. It's in here. It's in here. But now I can do things like I can also add an arrow, you know, to something that I want to point out. And, or actually there's probably a nicer. Yeah, and you can do, you can insert a text box. I'm not thinking of anything real creative, but obviously, so in other words, if you want to have arrows, call outs, or anything, this is the way to do that. Also, you know what, in Google Docs, you can't do arrows and lines, but or even text boxes, but what you can do is within Google Docs, you can insert a drawing, and then you can do that stuff in the drawing. You want me to show you how to do that? So I'm going to do a new Google Doc. And let's say I want, you know, if I was in Word, I would have the option of inserting a text box, but I don't here. So what I'm going to do is insert drawing. And now I can Where to go? Oh, I can insert a text box. Make it whatever size I want and fonts and so on. And also you can, how do you size it? You see this, you go down to the corner. It's not doing it. I wonder why. Usually there's a little thing here. Maybe I need to save it and come back. So now what it's done is it's put a text box inside my Google Doc. And if I want to make any changes to it, I just click on it. So, and you know, you can do collages, all sorts, you know, most any sort of graphic that you want. It's a very easy easy tool for doing that. So, did I lose anyone on that one?
Your address as far as getting the slides, you said it's at Bit.ly, CSLA workshop.com.
No dot. There's never a .com on a Bit.ly. Bit.ly CSLA Images Workshop. No, and no, it's all lowercase. Okay. You need, yeah, and you really want, I probably shouldn't have jumped ahead to it. Let's get it at the end, if you don't mind, okay? Because we just got a few minutes and I've got a few more things to go over. And I want you to have time to play. So I'll just leave that up for just a minute and then we're going to go on, okay? So, so do spend some time, you know, playing with Google Drawing. For example, this is a drawing that I made with Google Drawings. I brought in, you know, all these my different avatars and I arranged them into kind of a mosaic. Yeah? And it was very easy doing that with Google Drawings. Okay, here's another tool though that you can use for creating graphics that I've come to really, really like. And it is Canva. And if you want to go there now, go to canva.com. I will warn you, you do need to create an account to use canva.com, but it is free. And everything you do in canva.com is free unless you choose one of their images, one of their paid images, and those cost $1. So every paid image you put in your image is going to cost you $1 when you download it. So if you have one, it's $1. If you have 5, it's $5. So it's pretty cheap. The only thing is actually I avoid them more because, not because, you know, I'm willing to pay $5 for, you know, these cool images, but then I can't pass the license forward. If I create a Canva image, I put it in this slideshow, and then one of you uses it, we violated copyright. So that's why I avoid the paid ones. And there's also, recently they introduced a Canva for Work account, and I did a trial on it, and the thing I loved about it is that you could resize the images, which you can't with the free one. But I just didn't think that, while I'm willing to pay for a lot of upgraded accounts, you know, and support them if I like the tool, I didn't think I was getting enough out of it. Also, it won't let you create transparent backgrounds. But otherwise, I think it is a really cool tool, and I'm going to give you like sort of a whirlwind tour of it, okay? Canva.com. I am already logged in. These are all the images that I have created, and I can make them public or private. They're trying to sort of build a community where you can follow people, but as far as I can tell, that hasn't taken off a lot yet. Most of my images are private, but I've shared some of them. Anyway, when I want to create an image, there's all these different options. So like if you want to do a Facebook cover, it's got it built so that the template is the right size, you know. But if you click here, there's all these other options. So let's say I want to do a business card. This would be great if you have your students doing business cards. I'm going to do a poster. And so they give you all these sort of suggestions, but let's say I want a poster and I want a hamburger on it because we're going to sell hamburgers. I don't know why I thought of that. Now notice, see, these are going to, if I put this in, that's going to cost me $1 when I download it. So, sorry, go away. But, so that was a bad example. It looks like everything's costing. Arrows. Let's try arrows. So see, this is free. This is free. So if I put this in, and I can change the colors, I can change the size, I can add other stuff, I can upload, I can put in text, I can upload, and see, these are all the things that I've already uploaded. So like if I want myself in it, I don't know why I do, but if I do, and if you import a image with a transparent background, it will sit on the Canva image with a transparent background. However, you can't create a transparent background, you know, to put somewhere else. Does that make sense? It's going to have an opaque background. And the other thing is I can't change the size of this. I would have to start over. You know, if I decide, oh, gee, I really wanted the poster to go the other direction, I'm going to have to start over again. But it's pretty quick to recreate what you did. So, and one of the things that's really wonderful about it is they have tons of wonderful tutorials. They even have lessons to use with students. Once you sign up for an account, they'll start sending you emails. And I know we all get too many emails, but these emails are really good. They give you lots of design tips. They tell you how to do filters, how to choose the right colors, you know, how to brand yourself. Lots of, I've gotten a lot of lessons in good graphic techniques from them. You can upload anything you want. As I said, you can add text. You know, they have a bunch of graphic elements. Oh, Valentine's Day is coming up. Let's see what they have for that. So, you know, so tons of free stuff, and then usually you scroll down and they start getting to, like, if I wanted that one, it's going to cost me $1. Great for making greeting cards, like I said, for students making posters or business cards, and it's very easy to use. They have different kinds of text, but then you can change the font. You can change the colors. You can change the size, and so on. So spend some time exploring it. I would say for the graphics that I create, I do about 60% maybe in Canva now, 40% in drawing. Another tool that can be really fun is PicMonkey. PicMonkey is really sort of, its strength is enhancing photos. Again, and you do not even need an account for it. You can just open up PicMonkey and use it. There is a Royale option, which is their upgrade that gives you more effects, but really there's plenty of effects with the free version. Here we did, I had a thing where I had the teachers and students creating scary Halloween photos. So there's one. And you know, they have, like, so they had Halloween. I'll show you real quick. I'll show you Valentine's Day. And then we're going to be out of time. So there's different options for creating collages, design, edit. Edit is, it brings the whole photo in. Design is where you have a blank canvas and then you import the photo. I'm going to just edit myself. And there's an automatic auto adjust you can use to kind of make, you know, it look better. There are touch-up tools so that, wait, no, that's not it. You can fix your blemishes. I need a bigger brush. And then, you know, if you're not happy, you know, you can erase them and say, oh, that's what I needed. So let's get rid of those. There we go. And if I want to add some fun stuff, they've got all this stuff, like, so right now that for Halloween, they've got all these things. Oh, let's look at the hearts. So I can add, you know, hearts here. I can make them, I could make them different colors, you know, I can size them and so on. And there's frames. You can also, you know, you can import anything you want. So you could make a collage in here. Yeah. Oh, that, where did I think I did that in PicMonkey. I do have Photoshop Elements on my computer, so I'm not sure where I did it, but you definitely could do it in here. And then when you're done, you just click Share. I think if you want to do the background, you want to do the, not the one I just did, the overlay. What was it? Right. Design. And then lay the picture on the, I think, lay the picture on the blank canvas. I think that's how he did that. Also, they have canvas sizes. The one thing, when you're done, you just, you can share it all these ways, or I didn't actually want to share it. I just wanted to save it, and it will download it, and you can have different qualities. The only thing about it is that even with an account, I can upload this image again and do more work on it, but I don't have access to what I did before. It's like it doesn't save anything on the site. So basically you're starting over again, or you're starting from an already edited image. So that's really the only downside I know of PicMonkey. PicMonkey is a, you know, a great tool for having fun with photos and also making them look better. For more information, Joyce Valenza has a whole Symbaloo. These are all links to different tools for images. You'll never run out of tools if you, other things to try. Those were the ones that were sort of my favorites. Also, on the slideshow, I have a number of tools for helping with more information about copyright, Creative Commons, and so on. This is a movie. I do need to update the end because to Google Images has changed a bit. But it talks about the difference between copyright and plagiarism, which is something I think it's really hard for students and teachers to get right. And I love this Fair Use Tale, the one that has all the Disney clips. And this is kind of a rap song to teach kids about fair use. So take advantage of these various tools. I'd like you to do two things. I'd like you to, if you want to, let me share your slide. And also, if you'd like to get a certificate for attending today, which you all should do, right? Please go to, and write this down because I can't keep the slide up, bit.ly, get your certificate. bit.ly/get your certificate. And when you fill that in, please use the Google address that you're logged into or that you use for Google, and you will receive a shared document that is a certificate, okay? And if you're wondering how I did that, it's with Form Publisher. And that's, I don't have time to go over that for this session, but I'm happy to talk to you about it, okay? So, should I run through them just real quick, or does someone in particular want to, remember, share theirs? Okay. Okay, we're just gonna have a quick share. Well, in a minute. Rachel and Pat's favorite. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Kat. Oh, and but you know, it's not too late to change it. Put your name here. And like I said, if I were taking the time, I would make this a text, you know, say photo credit minimum, and make this a hyperlink. But as I said, for you know, especially with students, we're going to be lucky to get that, and makes me happy. Nice dogs, nice mask. If anyone, what I'm going to do is go through. They're all really cool, but if you want to say something about yours, do. And please, I do have an evaluation link I want to share with you, so please don't leave. I'll get to it in a minute. Nice. And part of why I did this slideshow, I know it can be kind of messy, but it is, I have done it with students, and it's a way of teaching them to, you know, respect each other's space.
Yeah.
And guess what? You can do this later. If you didn't get done, take a couple minutes, come back, and make yours as cool as you can. I wish my computer weren't stalling. Did you all fill out the thing to get the certificate? Did you get it? Well, you want to put the Google address that the email that you use for all things Google, and it will be shared to that Google account, the certificate. Okay, and I apologize if I didn't finish. This is stalling on me. I think I have way too many things open. I do just want to share with you. So bit.ly, get your certificate. I do want to thank you all for coming, and remember lifetime tech support. Here is the URL to the presentation, and I know I'm giving you like a gazillion URLs, but I recently became a Google for Education trainer, and we're supposed to get feedback on our sessions. So I know CSLA is going to, but I'd really appreciate it if you'd take a couple of minutes to go to bit.ly, give Jane feedback, capital G, capital J, capital F, and that will go into my log of, you know, and also I'm looking for ways how I can improve, but also that will be my log that I'm doing the sessions that I committed I would.
The link for that session evaluation.
The link for the session evaluation is Liz. What?
Is this on your slide?
No.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
can I interrupt just 1 minute? I know people are packing up and getting ready to go. In your program, there's a QR code and a link for the CSLA evaluations, for not only the whole conference, but for this session. So please do that evaluation also.
And this is just would be a favor to me if you would also fill this one out, but absolutely do the CSLA one, please, okay? And I know that a lot of it was a whirlwind, so please, I will stay if you have questions. Come get my card, and please, I cannot let you go without a plug for, you are all coming to the unconference tonight, right? At 8 o'clock. And I have stickers if that you can wear if you would like one, okay? And did you have something?
I would like to thank everyone for coming, and let's give Jane a big
Thank you.